I've been thinking about the Ukraine war and this great and successful thing that Putin would like to sell it as. And then when I think about it, you got 1 million casualties. You got the crippling of your Black Sea fleet. You've got
weak economy. Scott Besson said this morning on CNBC their economy's in big trouble.
That too. You've got a 1,300-kilometer increase in the length of your border with NATO nations once Finland joined. You've got antagonization of your oil customers. And then last, and this is just completely gets me, if you end up with European troops in Ukraine, you've succeeded in moving the Wehrmacht 2,000 kilometers closer to Moscow. I don't know how politics in Russia works, but I think you'd have a hard time selling that as a victory.
Yeah, but you get a bunch of land.
Yeah, that's what you're going to say you got, right?
Yeah.
And I just listed 5 things that you lost.
Yeah. Well, so you think Putin won't take that deal?
You mean with allowing European troops in Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I think Putin? Well, I think if that's the sticking point and that he rejects it, then it's Putin rejecting peace and not Zelensky. And that just sort of changes the narrative.
Oh, I don't think Zelensky's rejecting peace. I mean, I think in February, it's when they first met, Zelensky was dug in a little bit on, hey, we'll fight this out. I think Zelensky now recognizes we're going to give up the land that we've lost. He doesn't want to give up the land that they've not lost, that last 20% of that region that Russia seems to really want.
Yeah, sure.
But, okay, maybe that's the bargaining chip you end up trading. But to your point, that's the thing for Zelensky, for Putin now. It may not be called NATO, but it is NATO. It is the main NATO powers plus the United States sitting there with enough troops that if you go in, you killed 5,000 Germans, French, and 5 American Marines providing logistical support.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite phrase from 2025. NATO style. It's like it's like Gangnam style.
Yeah, Gangnam style. That's
Sean, NATO style.
NATO. We'll get Psy is the singer.
Yeah, Dean from Ohio. Work on that.
Yeah. So this is where again, you go back and you look at all of these agreements over the last 10 years that Russia has been part of. They blow through them. And I think Macron, is rightly skeptical. And I rarely use Macron as my example. But that's what worries me the most is that we agree to something. Putin says yes, and he basically just says, okay, great, I'll wait 3 years and then I'll start again. And I just, that's what is in the back of my head is that he may say yes to something. And the question is for how long? Yeah. And I also think that there is the president on Fox and Friends a little while ago seemed to be very clear that we're not talking about U.S. troops on the ground, which is critical to this. But I also think that the American people, especially the MAGA movement, have grown tired of support for Ukraine, financially and otherwise. And so I kind of, it's sort of like, that's why I was saying at the beginning, part of me is having a hard time putting all these pieces together, because I think there's an exhaustion among taxpayers and among American voters writ large on what we're doing in Ukraine. I don't think Europe actually has the staying power. And that's why I think Putin, if he agrees to something, I'll be more skeptical of something that he agrees to than the fact that he actually doesn't buy in. Yeah. Because
here's what's opaque. We don't know why Putin's even doing this, right? Why doesn't Putin just say, I'm busy and continue the war and try to take Kyiv, right? Because we don't know. Is it the economy? Is it the fear of what Donald Trump and the Senate have threatened? Is it public opinion at home? You can't read a single thing that will tell you why he's doing it. And because we don't know why he's even considering it, or at least pretending to consider it, we don't know what he'd actually agree to. But he's obviously interested in creating the impression, right. And according to President Trump, it's because he loves President Trump. But for whatever reason, he's at least going through the motions of pretending, rather than just saying we're not interested in talking.
Well, if I could just say one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Looking at the 5 things that I laid out, I have thought for some time that if Putin tried to conclude a peace with roughly what's on the ground right now, he would have a hard time staying in power and maybe even living out the rest of his natural life.
Yeah. That could be it. At some point, Putin will be afraid of being dead.
Yep.
He doesn't seem to have motivated him much to date.
Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.